Well, the first thing I do is obviously talk to the people who've asked me to speak and work out what it is, what angle they want to cover. But I'm sort of fortunate in some ways in that I can cover quite a few areas because I'm a woman and I've got lots of children, so I can talk about work-life balance and all of that and how I managed to get to the top with all these children. I can also talk about what's going on in the world from the perspective of a fund manager, because that's what I spend my time doing every day, is looking at markets, looking at economies, trying to work out which is going to do better. And people in business need to understand and to know what's happening in the world in terms of growth, where growth is and what's likely to happen. Clearly this has been a very distressing period for everybody, and so people do need to understand that and do want to know from somebody who actually works in the markets exactly what their perspective is. And in addition, because I've managed lots of businesses as well, and I've done various roles, whether it's been turning around a business or I've started 2 businesses literally from scratch, one under the auspices of a big bank, the other with my own resources. So I can talk about setting up businesses, managing people, building teams. When I set up SocGen's business, which was in 1997, I started off with me, a Frenchman and a secretary, and within 2 years we had 180 people. And we had a target of funds under management of 5 billion in 5 years. And we got to 5 billion in 2 years and 7 billion in 3 years. So I had to deal with explosive growth. So I've had a really interesting career and can talk from lots of different angles. Well, in my first 2 jobs, it was entirely to do with investment success, and you can't have a successful investment management business without good performance figures. I mean, if you're doing much worse than the industry, you're not going to get any money. I can absolutely assure you, it doesn't matter how good your brand is, in inverted commas, and how good you are at standing up and saying things. The fact of the matter is, if the figures are poor, no one's going to believe it. So that's absolutely key. And that's what I have to get right in all my businesses, is to make sure that the performance is good. But if you have very good performance, there are some people who don't make enough of that because they're not good communicators. So if you're a good communicator and you've got good figures, then you're going to end up with a successful business. So because I had good figures, the fact that I had a high profile and was able to communicate reasonably okay, definitely helped my business. And so, the business that I set up for the French, which was miles ahead of its target in terms of achieving funds under management growth, I think that was a lot to do with the fact that I had become so well known, and it wouldn't have accelerated at that pace if no one had known who I was. You imagine trustees, when they're recruiting a fund manager, they have beauty parades, and quite often they'll see 5 or 6 managers during the course of the day. Most managers will send a couple of people along. To this day, the majority of them will be men in grey suits, grey men in grey suits, and just the fact that I'm a woman means that they're going to remember me, but also I'm likely to be the only one they've ever heard of. And of course that makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference, so I can't say that it doesn't.
Nicola Horlick, thank you very much.
Thank you.